Good morning, Rotary Club of Centennial. Please take a moment and silence your cell phones. Karen Fleck, I think you've got the inspiration.
Your red badge back on.
Tripp said you need to put your red badge back on, so.
You need to put your red
Yeah, you need to put your red badge back on. Anybody want to jump in and do it? Oh, she's doing it. She's doing it. Okay.
Like the top one? Okay. Creator and sustainer of all that is or will ever be, accept our thanks for this day and all its blessings. We ask that you guide and direct our club, its leaders, and our actions. Grant that each of us may feel our responsibility to Rotary, to our community, to our country, and indeed to all countries and peoples. Bless our fellowship today. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Ernest, would you lead us in the pledge? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Shattuck, I believe you have the Rotary Minute.
I do. Thank you, John. This is a update on polio eradication. Sorry. We are still at 3 countries that are endemic: Nigeria, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. There have been no cases of polio in non-endemic countries, which is the good news. For the endemic countries, in 2015, we had 74 cases of paralytic polio. Now remember that for every case of paralytic polio, there are approximately 200 cases of non-paralytic. In 2016, now it works. In 2016, there were 37 cases of paralytic, half of what we had in 2015. In 2017, there were 22 cases of paralytic polio. Unfortunately, so far this year, we have had 1 case of paralytic polio, and that is in Afghanistan. For this year, the 2017-2018 year, the Gates Foundation is still going to be matching contributions that we make on a 2-to-1 basis. If Rotarians donate $50 million, then the Gates Foundation will match that 2-to-1 so that we would end up with $150 million. Still costs 60 cents to immunize a child, which is a great bargain.
Very good. Thank you very much, Don. Are you going to be writing a check for $50 million to
I wish.
RI? Oh, okay. Somebody else has to stand up. We don't have a business minute today. Remember, if you have a business that you want to highlight, get in touch with Phil and get on the schedule for a business minute. I'd like to thank Phil. Did you help set up this morning? Phil, you were talking. I said, yeah. Did you help set up this morning? You're on the list? Okay, thank you. And Dr. Paul, thank you for setting up. David Livingston is on the list of takedown. I don't see him. It's covered? Okay. Yenny Palma, where are you at? Great job greeting. It's good to see that your mentor is cracking the whip on you a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
We need to do that.
Meeting tomorrow too, which just not found out.
Very good. She's tough. And student of the good. Let's throw you off the deep end of the dock there. Let's get you going. Karen Fleck, great job, impromptu job on the inspiration. I guess you can keep your blue badge for another week. And Randy Ernest, great job on the pledge. Do we have any visiting Rotarians that I missed? No? We have a guest in the house, Mr. Kuykendall. Would you like to stand up and say hi and tell us what you've been up to? Good seeing you. Pete was a member, and I'm sure that Tripp will be hounding him a little bit to see if we can get him back into our club. And then Arthur, as our speaker, will be meeting him a little bit later. Birthdays this week. Eric Hoff, who I guess is in Singapore right now, birthday tomorrow. And I didn't see any wedding anniversaries this week. I don't think February is a very popular month to get hitched. Brad, talk to us about chat groups a little bit, since that email went out.
Here, Brad. Brad.
Really? What is this called? Who saw my email about chat groups? All right. Who read my email about chat groups? All right. Good. All right. So just as a reminder, chat groups are an optional opportunity just to get to know each other in a more intimate setting where you can get together for happy hour, coffee, lunch, whatever suits your group. And so if you're the chat group leader, please take the initiative to send out an email to your group. And you don't have to use Doodle, but the purpose of Doodle is to save, the 20 emails going back and forth. What about 7 a.m.? What about 7:30? So if you do utilize Doodle, it allows you to select 10 or 15 different times. What I do is I select some morning times, I select some lunch times, and I select some happy hours. And then I rotate it Tuesdays and Wednesdays or Thursdays. So if I offer, 12 or 15 different options, chances are 4 or 5 people are going to find something that works for them. So you just pick the most popular time slot and you go with it. And then, but if you're having trouble getting responses or organizing it, then let me know, and we'll see if we can get you more group members or open it up to the group. So, all right, let me know if you have any questions.
Great. Brad, thanks for that. Samurai, give us some updates.
Some random ones?
Random updates.
So I have some dates that you all need to be aware of. First and foremost is we have our next business mixer for the Vocational Services Committee, and it is going to be hosted by our one and only Brad Bruce at A&I Financial. So it's going to be really exciting. It's 5 to 7, February 22nd, and I know that the Clean Water fundraiser is that day too, so come to the business mixer first and then go and donate. So I think that makes perfect sense, although they're on completely ends of town. But it's all good. It's all good. So, but please, this is also an opportunity to bring potential members, friends, family. It's a social in addition to business mixer. So we also just want to, thank Brad for hosting, etc. So please come. It's going to be fun. And I will get off my butt and actually do a flyer, which I've been working on for a week, kind of. It's 5 to 7. So next we have our famous food drives. So these are save the dates, and they are already on our website calendar. So they will be Saturdays at the King Supers off of Arapahoe and Parker Road. Excuse me. So March 24th, May 5th, August 18th, and October 20th. So those are all Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Just mark those on your calendar, and we're good. Yeah, I'll send an announcement a couple of weeks before each. Yeah, I can do that as well. Yep. And that's it.
Great. Thanks, Samurai. Mary Alice, let's talk about prime timers a little bit. Are you getting sick of getting called on every week for prime timers?
All right.
Okay.
I like it. We're trying to get you excited. I have a date myself for you, which is, what? No. A date on the calendar, February 28th. We have our own Karen Fleck is doing all of the happy hours now for prime timers, and she has scheduled one for the 28th at Landry's Seafood House. It's on Clinton Street. And it's from 4 to 6 always. Sometimes people stay later, but you can eat dinner there if you want to, or just join us for happy hour. It's a great opportunity for you all to meet with some of the prime timers, and we've had a couple lately that are interested in, and we have some that have already joined Rotary. It's a good networking opportunity for us to let the prime timers know who we are and what we're about. So come and join us and meet everybody and have a good time. They're really always fun. It is. You get to the Prime Timers calendar on our Rotary Club Rotary website, www.bestrotary.org now, right? Org. And at the banners at the top, you pick Prime Timers, and there's a calendar website right there, calendar link. And it tells all the stuff we have ready to go in February. So come join us, February 28th.
Thank you, Mary Alice. Jay Zing, quick update on the Lion Dance coming up.
All right, so the Year of Dog is coming up February the 16th. It's a Friday, but we'll do the Lion Dance on Saturday. The following day, the 17th, so which is a week from this Saturday. The performance is going to start around the 7 o'clock for about 20 minutes or so. And this time is a lot better. We have the flexibility to have a slot before and after. So we have a 5:30 seating, so you can enjoy your food. And then at the end of the meal, after you eat, then you can enjoy the Lion Dance. Or we have some that can come later, at 7:30, so you can enjoy the Lion Dance and then sit down and take whatever how long. So that's it. So thank you so much.
Great. Thanks, Jay. Jeannie Henchen, quick final update on Valentine's for Vets.
If anyone brought your Valentines today, I'm going to be taking them out to the Hallmark store on Arapahoe Road. And if you didn't bring them today, you can take them to any of the 3 Hallmark stores before Friday. They will pick them up on Friday. You can go to University Hills if that's closer to you. Stacy's, Hallmark are the stores.
Great. Thank you, Jeannie. Quick reminder, we've got a board meeting tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. at Cottrell Printing. All members are welcome to attend. There may or may not be donuts. It just depends on when I can drag myself out of bed in the morning.
May I have a minute?
Sure.
Just so you know what Mary Alice was talking about, if you go to our website, everybody's seen this website? Do you know where it is? Do you know how to find it? Yeah, sure. Everybody that's been there in the last week, raise your hand. Everybody that hasn't been there in the last week, raise your hand. You rot. Anyway, here's what I'm going to do. Next week, if you bring me a picture of our website on your cell phone, I'll buy you a ticket to the raffle. Now, but more than that, if you go to About Us, into the club meeting videos, you're going to find that our videos are on there. And if you click on one of them, like the one from last week, you'll get to see our club videos. If you bring me a picture of this, I will give you 3 tickets out of my own pocket. If you do it, this is a 1 week only good time deal, okay? And then the other thing for Mary Alice is she was telling you about prime timers. So if you go up there to the prime timers calendar, you'll find that you can see what the prime timers are doing too by going to the calendar. Okay? Everybody got it? All right, make me poor.
Sure, Ken.
Real quick, I put on everybody's table a thank you note from CASA, and they had received a thank you note from one of our families for the Christmas tree giveaway. So I've received a number of telephone calls and emails, but this is the first one we received in the mail. So I guess there's a couple people that are appreciative of what we did. So thank you for the committee.
Good, very good. Mr. McCarty, you have something apparently.
Yes, I put on every table a copy of a flyer for the Engineers Without Borders Madagascar fundraiser. Unfortunately, it's the same day as Brad's social at ANI, at the club's business social. But you can always leave his place and go down to Stoney's Bar and Grill. It's down at 1111 Lincoln Street. They really could use our support. You don't have to attend. You can send them some support if you'd like. And if anybody has anything that they would like to donate to their silent auction, I would be glad to help them get it. If you have a weekend at a condo, or you have a restaurant and you want to give a gift card for a meal, anything like that that they can auction off, please let me know and I'll get it to them. And put this on your calendars if you're not going to Brad's, or if you can go downtown after you've been to Brad's. Thanks.
Great, thanks, John. Any other announcements from the group? Good. Let me see a show of hands. Who likes to volunteer? Who likes easy volunteer opportunities? No. Hand up, right? So I've been talking about flower power for the last couple weeks, and nobody has jumped in to kind of organize this project. We're gone. So, Diana, why? Who? What? Here's an opportunity to do we just need a coordinator for this. It's a simple project. After the Home and Garden Show, they allow us to come get those plants. So it'll be Rotary clubs and Boy Scouts from all over the city. So we'll pick them up Sunday. We'll get free admittance into that Home and Garden Show. And then the next morning, we distribute them to different old age homes around town, retirement. So the pickup is March 4th.
And we're talking Sunday, Monday.
Sunday, Monday.
Okay,
and then March 5th is the distribution. Unfortunately, Karen and I and Cheryl and Roxy will be in Mexico then, so we won't be around to do it. But I will get you the contact information of the person that's kind of coordinated and on a big. It's a simple project. It's a lot of fun. It's easy. It doesn't take a lot of time.
And so my responsibility then is to coordinate other Rotarians to assist me?
Coordinate our group, our little merry band of misfits, and coordinate then through the guy who puts it on. Okay. A few emails. This isn't going to be a super hard deal, and it's a lot of fun.
Excuse me, John? John?
My helper guider.
I do not remember.
I think it was Byron.
Was it Byron? Okay, so Byron moved. There was stuff from a couple of years ago, but you'll be able to get new stuff. Like I said, I've got the email from the guy and get in touch with him. So simple project, but a lot of fun. All right, wonderful. We are moving right along. I know there are some travel gifts out there. Kathy Smith.
I was in Outer Banks of North Carolina. Oh, sorry. I was in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and I brought some goodies back, but then I realized that the gifts exchange or our auction is until December, and my expiration on some of my products was September. So I have a few items today, and I'll continue to work on this throughout the year, and I'll put more things in. But today I have some pumpkin butter, some homemade apple butter.
Ooh, I love apple butter.
And these cute little baggies that look like little mason jars. But I'll be adding some country ham and some biscuits and things like that later in the year when we're a little closer to expiration date.
Very nice. Great. Thank you. Any other travel gifts? And West. Mr. McGuire, I believe you're doing Happy Bucks today.
Before I get started, is it true that whatever happens in Rotary stays in Rotary?
No, we spread it all over the world.
Well, I'm going to take a risk here because this is my happy hat today. The reason I asked that question was, you know, my daughter and her husband and the 4 little boys moved here from Boston about 3 years ago, and they live next door to Jay, and I just hope Jay does not go back and tell them that I showed up with a Eagles hat. Anyway, I got five. What was that?
Photographic proof.
Oh, no, that's terrible. Anyway, I got $5 anyway for because I'm a happy guy today, and I'm sure all the people that live around. Mark is here. I'm sure he was rooting for the Eagles. So with that, I'm ready to go.
There.
Okay.
I'm just happy to be here.
Very good. Anybody else? All right, John. Oh.
Normally I only put $1 in, but here's $3 because I had to ride with him on Friday. So it was fun, though.
Who drove?
He said he didn't understand a word I said all day, so.
I have Happy Buck for our speaker today. You're going to meet shortly, Arthur Ortega. And one for my friend Pete coming back today. And I don't see my daughter, but just wanted you all to know that Eric got...
It's early.
Eric got a fantastic promotion the other day. He's in Singapore this week, but we're real excited for what has happened with Eric at Sierra Nevada.
Very good. Thank you. Anybody here?
I have $2 happy dollars, one happy dollar for being back, and a sad dollar because I'll be out for the next month or so.
Okay. I'll take the microphone and the money.
I just have one. Last week I was traveling for work and I went to another Rotary club in Arcata, California, and that was really fun. They had a great little club. So it was a good time.
I've got 3. Of course, number 1 is countdown, 12 days to Daytona 500. Number 2 is kind of a happy, sad buck because my driver, Martin Truex, was here for an appearance yesterday at the showroom. John and I went and waited in line with thousands of his fans. He was only signing autographs for 2 hours, and we were far enough back in the line that we didn't get a chance to meet him and get his autograph. But when we were leaving, I was able to sneak into the room where he was and get a picture of him. And he is a huge Eagles fan, so he was at the Super Bowl and he looked very tired.
Very
but so I guess it's a happy buck for him. My 3rd happy buck is I met with the caseworker on my new CASA case yesterday, and I get to meet my new kiddos on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to that.
Very good. Thank you. Mike.
I got 2 happy bucks. So one is obviously for the Patriots losing. Yes. And the second one is my wife is traveling and out of town for Valentine's Day, so that means I don't have to do anything, right?
Yeah. Brad, that's true. Go ahead and go with that. Go ahead and go with that.
Mike, you might be a smart guy at work, but that's not a smart answer there.
Good morning. I am happy because February is Black History Month, and I am pleased to share with you guys the fact that it was on this day in 1870 that Jonathan Jasper Wright, an African-American attorney, was elected to the Supreme Court of South Carolina. He was the very first individual to be elected to any Supreme Court in the country. So, thank you.
That's a great story. It's not a story, it's the truth.
Well, my first buck is I'm so excited to see Pete. I was just thinking about you last month, so my positive waves must have gone out. And the second buck is for a really fun to watch Super Bowl and pretty exciting, and the Eagles won, so it was really exciting. And then the third one is I got to spend several days in Phoenix with my family. My sister gave several of my family members, tickets to Hamilton for
Christmas. So we got to see Hamilton last weekend and be with my family to watch the Super Bowl. So it was really great. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, there's. I'm sorry. I was in and out of the airport really early in the morning and late at night. Nothing in the airport. I wasn't anywhere to buy travel gifts. So, you know, I'm so sorry. Well, I didn't think anybody would want Hamilton memorabilia if you hadn't seen the play. So.
Don't rub it in.
Sorry.
Little people that haven't seen Hamilton.
I was happy to look at my television and see Tom Brady sitting in despair on the turf with his head between his legs.
Are you looking for my hat?
There's no love for that man here.
Who has the IOU? Because I need one.
Jay, IOU.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have 5. So tomorrow I am leaving for Sedona for a week, which I'm really super excited about. So I don't have to work, and I'm not doing anything Rotary, so just be forewarned. But kind of, I know, but I'm not going to be there when the club meets. I already checked Club Runner, which is on my phone because they have an app, just FYI, for club location. That's your Rotary Minute. But also, kind of the big news for me is I am officially dating somebody, which is new. And luckily, you know, I'll be out for a week, so we should still be together for the Lions dance. So you may get to meet him.
They do have stores in Sedona, so you will be able to get a travel gift.
But it's true.
I have 2. Love watching the Super Bowl as well. Hated Chris Collinsworth. Oh my God, he's awful. And I hope he gets fired or at least never broadcasts the Super Bowl again. And the second one is 1 week for pitchers and catchers to go back. Spring training is coming back, so go Rockies.
Mr. Ken?
What happened to it? I have 2. One is to see Mr. Kuykendall back again. And then I had an occasion, I visit a lot of Rotary clubs, and most of them are really, really boring, the smaller ones especially. So I went to the Mountain Foothills Club last week. They meet at Mount Vernon Country Club. And they start drinking. Then they have a meeting, and they drink some more. So they are known as the drinking club with a Rotary problem.
Good morning. I have one. The last Tuesday of the month, I will not be here because I'll be in Minneapolis for our annual conference. But I will be going to a Rotary meeting Wednesday morning with a couple of my members. And we've invited the district governor-elect to attend a reception and part of the sessions for our conference. So I will be doing my part for Rotary while I'm gone.
Just so everybody knows, we do have trading banners that you can take with you. So we've got them in the cabinet in the back. Let us know.
Ken, I need to know where that, as an Irish guy, a drinking guy, I need to know what that place is. I might consider a transfer. Oh, that's all I need.
That's never stopped any.
No, hopefully there'll be a dinner meeting. Anybody else?
Just a happy buck. My daughter is in Spain thanks to this club again. She is absolutely having the time of her life. And we talked to her last weekend. She said she wants to become an active Rotex leader when she gets back to Colorado and start a program for exchange students going in and out to share experience, et cetera. So she's wanting to become a Rotary leader when she comes back, which is awesome.
Very good.
Anybody else? Okay. All right.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Patrick and West, right here, right here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yes.
For those of you who think church is boring, they should have been there on Sunday, because we in our congregation watch the Super Bowl, and the Broncos weren't there, but yet we were all cheering when the Philadelphia Eagles won. I used to live there. We lived there briefly, so I had a little bit of emotional going in, but that was great, don't you think?
All right, I have three, and one is Pete, it's nice to see you here, and two is John Peterson. Thank you so much, you rock, by offering those raffle tickets for everyone. Go on to the website, you rock. And the third is that and the third is it was such a fun and exciting event that we hosted yesterday for the local high school seniors, juniors, seniors. They organized that statewide conference on diversity last night at the Volcano, and sheriff was able to stop by to make connections with kids of the multicultural families, and I think that's another vehicle to connect with those families to help educate, especially immigrant communities, with the law enforcement. So I'm so happy to be able to provide that opportunity.
Good, thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
That ends my act for the day. Oh, no, it didn't.
I've got
John.
one. I have never been a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I was for 3 hours on Sunday. Go Eagles. Definitely. And with that, Jeannie Henshin, would you like to introduce our speaker?
Okay. Well, Arthur Ortega is our speaker from Comcast, and he sent me quite a resume. Arthur serves as the Director of Government and Regulatory Affairs for Comcast in the 5-state Mountain West region that includes Colorado. In this role, Mr. Ortega develops, implements, and executes strategy for government affairs, external affairs, community investments, and public policy issues for over 30 cities, counties, and local franchising authorities. He is responsible for regulatory, franchising, political, and public policy matters within his assigned geographic area. He has done a lot of things, including he was the first civilian to work with the Denver Police Department's internal discipline process. He graduated from the University of Pennsylvania with a degree in political science and psychology, and then later on he worked in Washington, and at the same time attended American University's Washington College of Law. His career history includes he worked for Comcast NBC Universal as Director of Government Affairs, the Denver Department of Safety, the Office of the current Denver Mayor, Colorado General Assembly as an aide for State Senator Kent Lambert. He clerked in the Colorado Supreme Court for law clerk for Justice Nathan Coast, and he worked in the White House under President George Bush. So please welcome Patrick Ortega.
Thank you. Is my mic on? Because I know you guys take that seriously, so thank you. All right, cool. Arthur Ortegon, Director of External Affairs for Comcast. Before I start, I'm going to play a few videos throughout this just to kind of level set where we're at. So here is the first one.
Comcast's Mountain West region includes team members in Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, Arizona, and Idaho. In 2016, we connected more people than ever to their families, their communities, and their world. Here's a brief look at 2016 in the Mountain West. Throughout Colorado, Comcast employs more than 8,000 people, including a wide range of professionals who help grow the business and give back to their communities where they live and work. From technicians to marketing and software development to call center representatives, video, engineering, construction, finance, and community leaders, Comcast is one of the state's top 5 private sector employers. In 2016, we built on our innovations, laying more than 400 miles of fiber and announcing 2017 availability of super fast gigabit internet service, all through wiring that already exists in most homes. We increased internet download speeds from 75 megabits per second to 100, and from 150 to 200 megabits at no additional cost to our customers. Comcast Business connected more business than ever, with broadband speeds up to 10 gigabits per second, helping our customers to grow their business and our region's economy. In 2016, our innovative technology and product team, Viper, helped our customers connect more conveniently by launching Cloud TV and Cloud DVR to 100% of X1 subscribers. This means Rio was just a little closer to home whenever you wanted to watch, wherever you wanted to watch. Xfinity's where we're set. We continue to invest where we live and work by creating hundreds of new jobs at every level of our business, including technology and engineering, Xfinity stores, and customer service centers of excellence.
Digital education and digital inclusion for the whole community.
Through partnerships with local, state, and national, public, private, and business leaders, we celebrated the expansion of our Internet Essentials program to include households receiving HUD housing assistance, bringing internet and its unlimited opportunity to an additional 90,000 low-income households across the region. And we invested in making the customer experience our best product. In the Mountain West in 2016, over 1.1 million truck rolls were on time over 99% of the time. We partnered with our local nonprofit community to make a real difference in people's lives with a focus on youth leadership, digital literacy, and community service. Together, we invested more than $27 million across the Mountain West region and had over 17,000 employees and volunteers give back to our community on Comcast Cares Day. We also continued our commitment to diversity and inclusion, contributing hundreds of thousands of dollars across the region to organizations working to expand opportunity for all. And we lived our values by hiring and celebrating diverse employees and nearly 90 military or veteran hires, which led Comcast's West Division. We offer 6 employee resource groups dedicated to driving diversity awareness and bringing our team members together. Because together, we are stronger. Comcast Mountain West Region, involved and invested in our communities, always innovating to keep our customers connected to what matters most in their lives.
Let me put up the presentation now. Hold on. That's the presentation for later. So, Comcast generally is one of the most misunderstood companies just because of our scale, and it's hard to know what we do and where we do it. But to give you kind of just the high level understanding of the company is we're a mass media company. We are in the business of connectivity, connecting people to each other, to their communities, and to the world at large. And we do that in a variety of different ways. But the way that I really want to kind of frame up this conversation is I really kind of talk about it in 3 ways: impact, investment, and innovation. And so the first one, if I can get this to go, John, I don't know. Oh, there we go. One of the first things I want to talk about is our community impact. This used to be, in my world, we used to call this community investment, how we used to engage in these communities, get involved in community organizations, but that just didn't really sit right with our leadership. What we're really looking for is not how much we invested, how many hours we volunteered, but what is the impact we're making in our communities? How are we getting involved in transformative projects that matter to the community, not what we come in and say, hey, this is what you guys should be focusing on because this is how we can help, versus us coming in, listening to a community and being like, oh, is this what you care about? We could then go internal, see what assets we can help provide so you guys can achieve your goals. And so you can see a few bullets here. I kind of want to hit on 2 of these. The first one is connecting around 170,000 low-income Coloradoans to Internet Essentials. If you have not heard about Internet Essentials, this is one of our favorite programs. This is our low-income broadband adoption program, meaning that if you have a family that has a child that's eligible for free and reduced lunch, then you're eligible for this program, which basically means that you can get internet for $9.95, no contracts, no installation fees. In fact, if this is the first time to the company through this program, you get a voucher for an internet-ready computer. We have now provided wireless routers that provide Wi-Fi. So before it had to be a hardwire, now the whole house can be Wi-Fi. And the whole idea is to bridge the digital divide, right? We went out there and we saw that there is a gap of digital haves and haves not, and this is our effort to bridge that. This is one of the most successful digital divide program in the country. I hate to say the world, but it's probably up there. I mean, I'm talking about private sector, government, because that's 170,000 here. That's about 30,000 or 33,000 families in Colorado. Nationwide, we are up to 750,000 families and over 3 million people connected through this program. So this is just one of those. We want to be in the community. We want to get to those organizations that are touching the disenfranchised, the ones that are not being able to connect, because this is how you drive economic development, right? This isn't just kids doing homework, even though it is that. It is, parents looking for jobs. It's just being connected to the world through the internet. And this is a great example of how we do that. The second thing, it was mentioned in the video, is Comcast Cares Day. This is our National Day of Volunteerism, where we send out an army of Comcast employees and friends all across the nation to do projects within the community. This is just us saying, hey, we are part of these communities, we're engaged, and we want to help. This is Boys and Girls Club, this is schools, this is cleanup parks. Generally it happens in mid-April, so we get a fair amount of involvement. In 2016, and you'll understand that I'm talking 2016, I know we're in 2018, but we haven't got the 2017 numbers for some of these things. It takes a while to aggregate. But in 2016, we had about 8,000 folks in Colorado going out to 40 different projects around the state. So a lot of manpower, woman power, children power to get involved and do what's right by this community. I literally can talk for like 2 hours on community impact, but I know I can't do that, so we'll move on. One of the things that I was told to kind of focus on for this this group was kind of the economic development. What are we doing as an investment? What is Comcast as a private company doing, not just in the state, but in Centennial? And you can start to see some of these numbers, right? In the last 12 years, we did $7 billion with the B of capital investment. That is for our network. And right now in that video, it said about 8,000. Now we're about to 9,000 employees in the state, making us one of the top 3 private sector employers. But I really want to dig into that because there's a really awesome story here in Centennial about that. So in the past 3 years, the state employee population has grown from 7,500 to about 9,000. That's about a 10.6% growth in that 3 years. In Centennial, in 2015, we had 1,500 folks employed, and in 2017, we now have over 3,000 folks employed here. That is a 51% increase in the last 3 years in Centennial alone. We are now the biggest private sector employer in the city of Centennial because of our investments, because where we're moving forward. And that you have the workforce to fill it. And so we are not only bought into Colorado, but we are specifically bought into South Metro and Centennial. $116 million in annual Colorado taxes and fees, $1.2 million in annual franchise fees and PEG fees to the city. That's every year. We give $1.2 million to the coffers that Mayor Pico and her council can now use to help support broadband, a lot of their infrastructure, a lot of right-of-way work, right? And where that really comes from is another good story of the properties that we have. So we occupy about 135 properties in the state. That totals over 2.4 million feet of square feet. That's an annual base rent that exceeds $25 million. In the South Metro Centennial area, We occupy 53 properties that make up over 2 million. So most of our office space in the state resides in the South Metro. But in Centennial, we occupy 9 properties that make up about 850,000 square feet of space. 600 of that came in the last year at Panorama. So we are not only investing in the employee base, but we're investing in the property base. We are contributing to that mill. I mean, that is just a story that we are here meaningfully, investing meaningfully, and that we want to help not only drive what Comcast is doing, but Centennial specifically. And if there's any questions, please interrupt. I don't mind. It helps even. So one of the things that we have really invested heavily in, beyond the employee base and beyond the property, beyond truck rolls, is what our network looks like. Going fiber deep. And what does that mean for communities? What does it mean for your businesses? But really, the idea is that we want to push this, make our network what's called the next generation access network. Put it beyond where we can push bandwidth closer to the homes so that you can have higher bandwidth, so you can have not as much interruption, but really get to do whatever you and your family want to do, whatever you and your business want to do. And that's a very difficult business to be in. Building infrastructure is not easy, right? Because building infrastructure in Centennial is different than building infrastructure in Greenwood Village, in Denver, right? We have to have an understanding of your rights-of-way procedures, your permitting, and have that relationship with your council, with your city staff to streamline that. It is, as much as this sounds weird, investing that much money is difficult. It comes with its own problems. And so we work very diligently with a lot of our cities to be like, hey, you're about to get an onslaught of permits. How can we work through this? How can we really do this? So we can build this next generation access network, this fiber deep, into your homes, into your businesses. And so I want to show a video talking about this fiber deep concept. No, that's my last one. And of course it works when you first start it, or practice it, but it doesn't work now. Huh? I know, you'd think I work for a technology company or something, but let's see. Yeah, no, this is, reload it. Let's see if that happened, yeah.
Change is everywhere. There's always a new this, a latest that. Consumers want more. Businesses want more. We all want what's next. A big part of what's next is how we will communicate, stay connected. That level of connection takes the latest technology and advanced fiber network infrastructure, delivering cutting-edge products and incredible internet speeds. Cities need more of this network for amazingly fast connections to everything that is important to all of us and to pave the way for future innovations. This advanced fiber network delivers increased speed and reliability to all of us who want the latest and best technology to stay connected. How many devices do you have now? How many will you have 3 years from now? Think about it. We are. People aren't thinking about bandwidth. They're expecting it, demanding it. At Comcast, we're always ready for what's next, bringing the fastest, most reliable network. So, we're continuing the trend of doubling our network capacity, improving flexibility, and increasing speeds. Committed to building the most reliable network ever, and keeping you connected to what matters most. You don't want to miss it. Comcast, Advanced Fiber Network.
So, what does that mean, right? Because those don't necessarily understand what a fiber network is and how it impacts their lives. And I kind of want to point out two concepts about it. First is something that we call pro-built. So as you can understand, we have a fairly fiber deep network, especially here in Centennial because of all that property and focus that I've talked about. But even then, there are sometimes gaps in our network. And what we do is we work with economic development councils, chambers, mayors, elected officials, business leaders to really understand, hey, where's the growth in this city? Where are you going? Where's your business going? And then we go kind of do an analysis of, hey, we might have a gap there. Then we will go build out that network, that gap in our fiber on the chance that you guys are moving there, right? So if there's a big development or something, you know, the park, the compark, right? When that came up, we were like, okay, we really need to get together and figure out how do we build fiber there so once the businesses show up, we are already there, right? Because the old model used to be like business day, hey, Comcast, I'd love your service. And we'd be like, we're not there, but we can bring it to you. You pay for the services, and it's going to be some ungodly amount, right, for the capital construction cost. Which then was just like, I'm a small business. I don't have that. Like, no, sorry. I'm going to have to figure something out. And so what we realized is if we can build before you're there, it's cents on the dollars, right? Because we get to work with developers, get to use their trenches, because the expensive part is tearing up beautiful little pavers and then putting our own trenches in. If we can do that when they're turning dirt, it's cents on the dollars for us. And because of that, we'll do it on our own dime. So we will build it if we know you're going there. So then when that conversation happens, it's more like, you just have to pay for the service. We are trying to eliminate that capital, that customer contribution to helping building our network. That is a lot of where our money is going. So the tax reform, that opened up a tremendous amount of capital that now is going to be used for this effort to build out more, to double my tech ops and my engineers being able to go out and build fiber. And another example of what this means for you, in the last 17 years, we've increased speeds off this network 18 times free of charge. We always get hit with rate increases. The fact of the matter is, those are sometimes people rolling off promos. We try not to raise rates as much as we get lambasted because of this effort. We want to provide more, higher value for what you pay, and this network is the bedrock to making this a reality. So we're in that business of inching our fiber closer and closer home and to your business. So the last bucket I want to talk about is innovation. I would be remiss and potentially fired, especially with Pete in the room, if I don't talk about customer experience and how that is the key innovation. We're doing a lot in the innovation space, but the key one is with customer experience. I left this on the table. I didn't know if I brought enough for everyone, but this is a good two-pager kind of talking about how we are really very bought into our CEO's message of the customer experience is going to be our best product. We realize that we're in an experiential game, that you walk into your house and you have all these connected devices. If your Nest, which is your thermostat, breaks down, we're going to get that blame. If your TV goes down, we're going to get that blame. If your internet goes down, even though it might be your computer, we're going to get that blame. So we realize that we need to meet the customers where they are. So we have invested in different mechanisms that make it easier for us to do business with you. So if you want to call us, you can call us. If you want to not call us, we are providing a lot of resources that you can self-heal a lot of your material. So our boxes now, as I was talking to the former mayor, gets updates every day, every night, between midnight and 3 a.m. The whole point of that is that it self-heals, that it identifies problems, and once again, the network is the bedrock to this, right? And so we are providing different avenues for the customer to interact with us. Twitter, if you want to drop off your box at UPS versus standing in line, we can do that as well. And so one of the greatest things that I think we're getting involved in is this kind of digital space, this app. You know, we have now what is that My Account app. You can pay, you can change your services, pay, you can check the health of all your services, all from your phone. We have Xfinity Home, which is a security system that I can, you know, I like messing with my wife, right? I can like turn on lights and, you know, set the alarm and it like goes up. You know, like you can really get creative with how you do things, right? You know, like I do presentations a lot and like I'll be messing with it and I'll just get blown up with text messages. You'd be like, stop, I'm trying to watch TV, right? But you have that kind of control over your living room, over your home. As much and as little as you want to do, we are there to provide that for you. And so one of the key things about this, making the customer experience the best product, what I love about it is how we're all bought in. From the CEO down to the front line, this is a real effort that we are all pushing forward to. How do we treat our customers the way they need to? We know we lost sight of that. But now that we lost sight of that because we were building this incredible network. Now that we're there, we're laser focused. We have that network that is second to none, providing the best services and products to anyone, ubiquitously. Some of our competitors love to make claims that, hey, you got lightning fast internet. It's all here. But in very small pockets, right? You got to be in the specialized area where they're going. If we announce we have something, it is ubiquitous. It is the same service in downtown Denver as it is downtown Trinidad, as it is in Steamboat. There is no difference of being in the capital and the epicenter of Colorado versus some, you know, rural area in southern Colorado.
Just the speed, right?
Speed?
Just the speed.
Speed services, you can get cable, you can get security.
But you cannot get 1 gigabyte internet anywhere. Like in my
Yes.
house, I cannot get 1 gigabyte.
Where do you live? I'll give you my card. You absolutely can. You 100% absolutely can. And if you're on our plant, if you have a serviceability to Comcast, like, hey, we can get you to 2 gigs by the end of the day.
Symmetrical?
Not symmetrical. 2 gigs symmetrical, 1 gig not symmetrical. Right. But I don't know who told you that or when you but that's a great message. Thank you for bringing that up. We are not the same cable company that your father dealt with, right? The stories, the answers that you got once you called us a year ago, 2 years ago, even maybe 6 months ago, are different today. So if there are these kind of issues that you had and you're like, I don't want to deal with them, like they gave me this thing about that pro build, like where that conversation was, we need $10,000, $15,000 to build there, that story has changed. So whenever you got that, it is different today.
About a year ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right. We can bring that to you. So customer experience, know that we are very bought in. We are very focused on changing it. It's going to be a long process. We are about 3-4 years into a 7-year process. But we're already seeing a difference on the ground, and it's only going to get better from here. How am I doing on time?
You're fine. You're about 10 minutes.
Excellent. One of the other, so when we talk about innovation, we really talk about work, play, and home. Work, we've kind of talked about where we are building this fiber. We're building a lot of these kind of what's called mesh networks into your business, where you can provide Wi-Fi for your customers, where we have, this might starting to get really wonky, and I really apologize, but like something called this SD-WAN. Basically, we have the ability off this network to shoot, like if your business needs an influx of bandwidth, say you're backing up all your files, and it's you need to do it 1 day a month, we are able to give you a ton of bandwidth to do that, so you don't interrupt your internet, so you don't just destroy what you're using to do this backup. So we have now a lot of different assets that we have moved from the residential space into the business space. This is our biggest growth engine. We've only been in the business about 5-6 years, but we're already making great strides in that. And almost it seems weekly that I get a. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, and we get updates on new products that the Comcast business is providing to our businesses.
That just reminded me of last year with the repeal of the Net Neutrality Act.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a big splash in the news that you guys deleted from your website your pledge not to create paid fast lanes.
Correct.
Can you just talk about that?
Sure.
Because that seems like what you're saying obviously can detract from residential users to business users.
No.
Maybe. That's
Right. No. And that's why we are doing the fiber deep, that we have the bandwidth and the ability, the network operations, if you will, to be able to provide this service to business, this to residential, and one does not affect the other, right? This isn't one of those situations where if you're watching TV or downloading it, that affects you from your daughter or son downloading a movie. Net neutrality. This can get into a very, I'm putting my lawyer hat on and, can get into a very wonky type thing. But one of the things, net neutrality is really 3 big principles: anti-throttling, anti-discrimination, and anti-paid lanes. We have made it very clear that we will not do any of those 3. In fact, those were conditions of the NBC Universal merger that we had about 6 years ago, where we volunteered to do those conditions and have made future promises that we will never do that. One of the parts that gets really convoluted is this idea of what happened at the FCC in Title I versus Title II and net neutrality. They are different. They are, even though they've been conflated into one issue, they are very distinct, okay? And so I know I'm probably starting to lose some of you. But the Title I, Title II discussion is more of a regulatory framework. Who has authority over us, why, and how do they implement that authority? Those principles, the net neutral open internet principles, we've always abided to them. So what happened was in 2015, Obama and his FCC chairman, Wheeler, decided to move that authority to an entity that didn't do this. So the point is, and then the Obama and his chairman, Ahmed Pai, now have put it back to what it was pre-2015. So the point I bring that up is, up until 2015, we had the ability to do any of these 3. We, at that time, made a very conscious decision. We are not doing that. That is not our business. And so when it rolled back, we were like, yeah, we're still in the same, nothing changed for us. Like, the people you need to really worry about are the fringe. So we're an internet service provider, ISP. The people that you need to be concerned about are the fringe users. Think about the big guys. Facebook, Amazon. Have you ever thought about something, looking at Amazon, and then you get an ad for it? Like happens to me all the time. I have a newborn daughter at home, and I get crazy ads for diapers and strollers and things I didn't even know I needed, and apparently I do. And so nothing to worry about, because we're still in this. And on that website, we have said, and our grand poobah of this is David L. Coney. He's like, we're not doing that. That's not our business. We don't want to do that. Yeah. And so back to innovation. Customer experience is the big one. But then when we start to get into the space of your home, our X1 platform is by and far the biggest game changer. And it's one of those game changers that no one really knows about unless you have it. So basically, it's this iCloud platform that allows us to pull content to your homes how you want it. So basically, the idea behind it is we want to be an aggregator of aggregators, right? That you can use our platform, this X1 platform, in the voice remote and be like, I want to watch this, and it pops up, and that's what you're watching. That seems easy. It seems like everyone should be able to do it. Incredibly difficult to do. Incredibly difficult engineering design, but also having the legal rights to do it, right? So now our platform has the ability to integrate Netflix, YouTube, and it's only going to go gain in popularity from that point. So this new platform on how, once again, it's a great example of how we're meeting our customers where they are, because we realized that this linear kind of guide thing that is just a nightmare. People don't want to watch TV in a linear fashion. They want to watch, they want this now. And whatever this is difficult to figure out. But that's what our X1 platform is doing, okay? So if you haven't seen it, it is just, the user interface is super simple, very easy to use, but really the voice remote is what makes it powerful. Because you can control your living room from that remote, being like, I want to watch This Is Us, and then it pops up.
Staying on that concept, focusing on your IoT, where are you going with your X1 platform in IoT? I represent Siemens. We're an integrator. We are now at 7,000 different devices that we're testing because of the ZigBee, the Z-Wave.
Sure.
So where are you all going with the X1 platform?
I swear to God that was not planted, because that's really like a perfect segue to my next innovation, which is called X-Fi. So IoT, Internet of Things, is really this kind of concept that I brought up, that everything in your house is connected. You saw it at the end of that Fiber Deep video of like, today you have 4 devices, how many are you gonna have tomorrow, right? They're all integrated, but it's all based off this network. Once again, if your Nest fails or your iPhone or whatever, it's like, damn it, Comcast, and then, so we realized we had to take that extra step into the digital home, right? So now we're taking control over that. And so the way we're integrating is that aggregator of aggregators. So what X1 did to the video platform, X-Fi is going to do to the digital home. So the idea is that we will be able to tell that health, integrate the Nests, the smart locks, the light bulbs, the Philips light bulbs, anything that you use can now be managed, and the health of that can be told off our network. So basically, if you're like off that remote, because that remote is really going to be the heart and soul of our moving forward, it's going to be like, I'm cold, and then your thermostat will kick up 2 degrees. It's bright in here, dim. I'm about to watch a movie. So that means the lights will now, if you're like in the jungle, your lights will turn green. So if you start to, if there's gunshots, pop, pop, your lights will pop, pop, right? And so, and the way that works is off our IoT and the mesh network that is occurring. Now there's a bigger effort where we're playing in the smart city space. And and that's really interesting you brought it up, because we're actually doing a big pilot here in Centennial with this group. They're called Machine Q. And it's our effort to play in this, how do we make cities smarter? You know, like that's a concept, like it's, you know, who wants a smart city? Everyone's like, of course I do, right? But what does that mean? What does that, like, how do you actually do that, and what do you do with it, right? Because basically it is just data, right? How do we help your city use more data about their operations to improve their operational expenditures? How do we drop public works down by 15%? For instance, one of the sensors that we are testing out here is a snow sensor. This didn't exist anywhere. We had to create it for Centennial. Basically, the idea is that we'll create this, this network here that will be able to tell, hey, it snowed on the east part of town, but not the west part of town, so send your trucks only there, as opposed to having pre-designated routes. And, and trucks are rolling, and they're like, there's no snow here. So we get to send them directly to where they are. Another sensor we're testing is air emissions. You guys are we're off I-25. How does that affect us? How does that give former mayors the ability to go to our state legislatures, even our federal government, be like, hey, we're having some serious air emission problems because of how do we work with CDOT, how do we work with people to improve that, right? Because once again, everyone wants to be smarter, but no one really understands the how. It's like, smarter, a miracle happens, now we're smarter. We're right here in this miracle. We're trying to figure that out. How do we create the data? How do we analyze the data? And how do we put it to good use? And we're working with your team here in Centennial to figure that out.
What's the difference between
internet service that Comcast provides and the new Ting service that's coming out, and why wasn't that Comcast, and why is it putting in that fiber?
Okay. Yeah.
It's a former mayor, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, but I see that camera and I got a mic on me too, right? What is the difference? A lot, right? Because one of the key things that people don't understand, and this can be municipalities, this can be overbuilders, that's what we call like players like Ting, it isn't just putting the infrastructure in and then that's it, right? There's a lot of network maintenance and a lot of operational updates that need to occur. And so the difference is we know how to do it. We know how to scale fiber. We provide ubiquitous service. We know we have to do better on the customer experience. But that's where it really falls apart. Our services and products are superior. We'll line that up side by side to anyone in this business, and we're proud of that. So what happened with Ting is the city decided to invest in infrastructure, a backbone, if you will, and open access. And then private sector can come in and lease some of it. Here's the problem, is with that network operational side, who starts to take ownership of it? Who starts to fix it when it goes down? Especially when you have multiple providers beyond Ting on that. So one of the things we were approached and asked if we wanted to do it, and our response was really twofold. One, we already are fiber deep here. We can do this. The second was, if you want to partner with us, we can help build to the areas that you want to build to. That I can't express why, or I don't know why the city did not take us up on that offer. They wanted to put in this, but the bottom line is we want to own our network because of all the services and all the products that we push over it. We just can't trust anyone else maintaining it. And the second component is security. We have 2 SOCs, Security Operations Centers, throughout our nation, focused exclusively on protecting our network. I asked if I can say the stat, so I can't, but we get attacked a lot every day. It is more than thousands. And so we need a team that can protect that. And so we aren't convinced that these kind of open access muni broadband can do that as of yet. So that's about as politically correct as I could go.
We have time for one more question.
And then one more, 2 more? No? You're the boss, my bad.
One more.
All right, so Xfinity is really focused, a lot of features you're talking about are focused on the residents.
Yes.
A lot of these are not available on the business users. So how are you going to integrate those features or make those features available to business?
We are, and that's the innovative side of the Comcast business. That is a new business we're in. It is growing, and we are now moving a lot of those services that were traditionally only Xfinity into the Comcast business. That is probably the best example of what I was saying to this gentleman of any answer you got a month ago is different today. It's constantly upgraded. I'll give you my card at the end of this. I can send you someone who will be happy to express everything we're doing.
All right, great. Can we ever?
Yeah, that's true.
No, you go ahead.
I can do quick. John's going to yell at me.
Quick.
With Alexa and Google Entertainment Center, is your device going to be able to eventually place it?
Yes. One of the key things that we're working to do is what we don't like about Alexa is that it is actively listening, right? That when you have to say, Alexa, blah, 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 right? So it has to constantly listen. With our voice remote, which will be the heart of it, there's a button on it that then instigates. We think that's going to be the game changer, but that is I don't want to say that. It is down the road. But yes.
It's listening.
Alexa's listening right now.
Right.
I don't know where she is, but I know she's in here.
Right. Now, I need you for a second. I've got 2 more jobs for you before you take off.
Okay.
And then actually, I want you to hang around for a second because I've got something for you. So first off, one of the focuses of Rotary is literacy. So we sponsor a little charter school up in North Denver. we provide books for them, and when we donate books, we put a book plate in honor of our speakers. So this is a copy of a book plate that'll go in to this little charter elementary
That's
school.
awesome. Very cool.
Pretty
Thank you.
cool.
Yeah.
And then the next thing, we have a legal lottery here. Legal, we have a license, so I need you to pull a ticket out of there.
Okay.
And read the
Is
last.
this the raffle that John's going to like subsidize?
Yes. And so the last 3 digits are
317.
317. Kevin.
Really?
He's not even inducted yet. Come on up. So now what he'll get to do is he'll get $10 of lunch money.
Okay.
And then he'll get to draw for the blue marble to see if he wins $700+.
Oh, a blue marble.
$10 is yours.
Wait, and then you got to draw a marble. If you get the blue marble, it's like for $700.
Hold it up high. So you get to pull out 2.
We get 2 marbles.
One. Pull one more. And then what I want to talk to you, I'll just close this out. I've got an idea for you.
Oh,
cool. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Thank you. No, he got the clear marble. All right. So could you all, couple of quick reminders. We covered some of this. You can watch previous meetings online. Board meeting tomorrow, 7 a.m., Cottrell Printing. And then it looks like we're going to have a foundation board meeting. I'm waiting for confirmation from Dave Walcher tomorrow evening. So could you all join me in the 4-way test for all we think, say, or do? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Do good and have fun.